Nellis Park, WRUB HD3 Clearwater, and the mighty AM 620 WDAE St. Petersburg, an iHeart radio station.
It's time, man! The stage is set!
Welcome.
Welcome home, baby. I like this kind of party!
Putting the fun in dysfunctional.
Yeah!
Each and every weekday morning, the Pat and Aaron Show.
Is it a little too early for being that loud?
Good morning, Tampa Bay.
And here we go.
Now your hosts, Pat Donovan and Aaron Jacobson.
Good morning, goons. Welcome to the Pat and Aaron Show, 95.3 WDAE and AM 620, coming to you live on a football Friday. And oh boy, what a Friday it is. What in the actual F? We sat here just a day ago celebrating the fact that Liam Cohen was returning to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as, at the time, what we thought was going to be one of the highest paid offensive coordinators in football. The reporting has changed to where it was going to be the highest paid offensive coordinator in football. But
massive deal.
Course, yeah, well, I mean, highest paid, pretty massive. Not massive enough for Liam Cohen.
Oh, my gosh.
What an absolute schmuck Liam Cohen is. I'm going to say it. Absolute schmuck, because the way that he handled this was absolutely disgusting. And if you're a Buccaneer fan, I totally understand why you're pissed off today. Wish we could do a mixtape or something to really celebrate this guy's schmuckiness. But if you want to jump aboard, 888-546-4620. This is definitely a day about you. But the way that this went down, Aaron, for Liam Cohen, and the reporting is, after he agreed to that new deal with the Buccaneers on Wednesday, he basically went radio silent. He apparently, according to the reporting from Rick Stroud, for some reason asked if he had to sign the contract right away, which, by the way, if he asked me that question, I'd be like,
sketchy.
That's weird.
Sketchy.
That's weird alone. But then part of that contract that he agreed to with the Buccaneers on Wednesday was that he would not take another interview with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And that's, of course, what he in fact did. He sneakily, all right, sleazy Liam Cohen. That's what we're calling him from here on out.
I'm calling him Benedict Cohen.
Well, yeah, I like sleazy Liam Cohen because Benedicts are too delicious, all right? I like a good Eggs Benedict.
Yeah, you do.
Sleazy Liam Cohen, all right? That SOB. He went over to Jacksonville, but not only did he go to Jacksonville, and I don't even think it was really a second interview. It was really a, hey, how do we tie this thing together and finish this thing up? He knew when he went.
I don't know about that.
Oh, come on.
Why would you be so secretive then?
Listen, I don't know why he did it.
The stipulation you just mentioned, Pat, of how the Buccaneers said you cannot take this second interview with the Jags and you will get this with this contract. In his mind, he's like, all right, well, if I'm going to explore this again, I'm going to have to do it in a shady way. I'm going to have to do it secretively.
If he thought he could go to Jacksonville, negotiate a new deal, potentially, and then leave without accepting it and come back here and nobody would ever know, he's an idiot. He's an idiot.
Either way, he's sketchy human being, and he's a man who couldn't stay in one place. He's been bouncing around, as I mentioned yesterday, and I thought for once he'd be happy to have a little consistency be stuck in a place. I don't think he's that kind of guy.
Well, here's the thing. When you don't have the right character, you don't like sticking around for long because people eventually see that character.
I hate this world sometimes. 24 hours ago, literally, we turned these mics on. We love this guy. Yeah. We celebrated this man.
Yeah.
And 24 hours
we didn't know him.
24, we didn't know him. We've only known him for a year. 24 hours later, total snake, total shady sketchball.
We didn't know he'd lie about his sick child.
Whoa.
Well, that's what Rick Stroud said on his tweet.
Well, we don't know.
I trust Rick Stroud.
Hold on. We don't know if I don't think he lied about his sick child. Because we heard about this, Greg Allman said about a month ago when he was at the podium, asked about being a head coach. He said he didn't have time to think about it because he had a child sick. He used him as
an excuse? Is that fair?
Well, I don't know if he was actually at a doctor's appointment. It doesn't seem like he was. It seems like he was in Jacksonville meeting with Shad Khan. So I don't know if his child is sick or not. I'm guessing the child is sick, but either way, if you use that as an excuse and you weren't actually at the doctor's office, that's a next level.
Dude, even if you were at the doctor's office, you know damn well that's not why you weren't getting back to the Buccaneers. So you're using it as an excuse. You're being dishonest about it, whether you were at the doctor's office or not. When you use that as an excuse as to why you weren't getting back to people, and you know that it's partially because you're going behind back doors to try to go to the Jack. And here's the tweet from Rick Stroud. It was about 14 minutes ago, detailing the amazing.
Great tweet.
This is about his podcast, not an article, detailing the amazing 26 hours or so that Liam Cohen disappeared after withdrawing his name from the Jags head coaching job to return to the Bucs, only to secretly travel to Jacksonville and negotiate a deal to become the Jags head coach.
You're missing the greatest tweet.
I realized that I was reading the wrong one.
Here's the great tweet from Rick Stroud about 40 minutes ago. Liam Cohen became the Bucs' latest runaway bride, ghosting his bosses in Tampa Bay for more than 26 hours, blaming his disappearance on a sick child while secretly sneaking away to Jacksonville to become the Jaguars head coach when he'd withdrawn his name from the job Wednesday. Wow. That is, blaming his disappearance on a sick child.
That's the lying about it. Yeah.
I mean, come on.
So, and listen, again, there's some people, even people I like, that if they put that out there, I think, okay, they're maybe throwing it off the wall a little bit, right?
Not Rick Stroud.
We've got friends in the media. I've even gotten into it with a couple of them one time for a very misleading title about Jameis Winston when who was it that got the DUI? Austin Safarian Jenkins. And there was an article that was like, oh, hey, did Austin Safarian Jenkins say he was going back to Jameis Winston's house, or he was just leaving Jameis? I'm like, he didn't say that. Rick Stroud does not just throw crap off the wall.
No.
So when Rick Stroud says blaming his disappearance on a sick child, like, yeah, I think that's lying about it. And to me, that is, listen, it's stupid. And here's the problem I have with this whole thing, Aaron. And I think, and you kind of said something similar to me before the show, and I said to you, that's how everyone feels. And you're like, not everyone. And you're right, not everyone. But I think the vast majority of Buccaneer fans fall into this basket with me and you. Had he taken the job, we would have eventually gotten over it. We would have been fine with it. Everything he did was forgivable, with the exception of being so damn shady about it. All right? If he had the balls to just be honest with somebody, to just pick up the phone and call Jason Light or Todd Bowles or whoever it needed to be in his opinion and go, hey, even after he agreed to the deal, which I told you yesterday. Do you remember how wrong I was yesterday?
You're like, he'll never do it.
I didn't say he'll never do it.
You said it'll make him. We should find that from yesterday.
What I said was, some people are saying, hey, what if Jacksonville tries to get him again now they fired Trent Baalke? Or what if John Spytek tries to bring him over to the Raiders? And I said I'd be very surprised if after agreeing to a new deal, he then left. I think now that he's agreed to this new deal, there's next to no chance he does that, right? And clearly not only was I wrong, he not only did it, he did it in the shadiest of ways. And that, I think, is what most people have a problem with. Even after agreeing to the new deal, if he'd have picked up the phone and said, hey, this is a Godfather offer, I cannot refuse it.
Yeah.
They let me pick my own GM. I'm so sorry that I said I wouldn't go, but the phone call came, and I answered it, and it was a lottery ticket, and I got to play it. We all forgive him at some point. But he didn't do that.
And to hear the report, you're absolutely right. And to hear the reports that the Bucs are trying to get in touch with him, and he is, they use the terms that everyone's using, ghosting the Buccaneers.
Were you surprised that Rick Stroud used that? Because I'll tell you what, I feel too old sometimes to use ghosting.
No, Rick's hip.
I know he's hip, but I don't know.
I thought, and I think it's appropriate here because that's what was happening. He just wasn't answering. And in my mind, I've just got this vision. I can't get it out of my head of Liam Cohen, his phone going off, and it's like Jason Light, and he looks at it. He's like, and he just puts the phone down, and then keeps getting these calls, and in my mind,
dude. So I think here's where I think the way you're envisioning it, I can tell already you're off. You're imagining the Bucs calling Liam Cohen like an ex-girlfriend.
Oh, just every second.
Yeah, there's no way they did that. We're talking about professionals, right? Jason Light's nobody's little.
I could see Jason Light just being like calling and then throwing the phone down every time, picking it back. Answer your damn phone. Jason, there's no way he's. If he's listening this morning, because I know Jason listens around this time. He doesn't want to talk to anybody right now.
I doubt it. When do you think it's set in?
He's got to be pissed. Set in for Jason?
Yeah, for everyone over there. Because listen, when you first reach out to somebody and they don't get back to you, your immediate thought isn't the worst, typically.
It is for me.
Is it?
Yeah.
Listen, my mother, I love you, Mom, but if there's anything I hate, it's that you ingrained this in me. As soon as somebody's about half an hour late and I can't get in touch with them, like if they're supposed to be somewhere, I start thinking car accident, like, oh my God, what happened to them? Like I get like that. My mom did that to me because I'd come home 10 minutes late. She'd be like, you could have been dead. And I'm like, Mom, will you chill out?
She's right.
And that's ingrained in me now.
Yeah, me too.
But other than that, I don't start thinking about the worst of them as a human being, like they're doing something terrible. Or like,
I do. I think the worst of everybody.
Yeah, well, you're always like
That's me. I mean, it says a lot about me. On the text line, why are people taking shots at me today? This is about Liam Cohen. Stay on track here.
That is, I mean, just a filthy text about you.
I can't even read it, but it's like, boy, I thought Aaron was a P, and it was way worse than that. F that, all this stuff. And then about Liam being...
listen, that wasn't even about you.
Yeah, but it was like, why do you have to use me as like your line of where the P line is?
He was, dude, you know what he was saying is, hey, Aaron.
On the P bar.
Aaron, you're not the worst.
I mean,
Hey, you're not the worst.
Jeez, well, let me try to up Liam Cohen. Let me work on that. Get back on the list.
But listen, I do. I think, and that is and I have seen different things. And on the Bartow 4DA text line as well, someone somewhere will blame Bowles for this.
It is his fault.
I have not seen Todd Bowles blamed, but I've seen a couple of times, I think, foolish statements. Like a couple of places I've seen replies to, whether it be my video on social media or one of our other videos or posts or whatever the hell it is. I've seen a few different people be like, don't ask why he took the Jaguars job. Ask why he wanted to leave this one. It's like, will you stop it? Are you paying any attention? It's a great job, and it's why the Bucs are going to fill it probably with a really good candidate, and I'm not going to freak out about Liam Cohen being gone, even though it's clearly not the best thing for this football team.
Luke Easterling had a funny tweet overnight. He said, Liam Cohen handled this situation like it was 2nd and 1 from the 12-yard line with 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter of a playoff game.
This was definitely an end around, and there was no reason to do it this way, right? You think about what he said. You could have turned and handed the ball to Bucky Irving. And listen, by the way, we're laughing. We're trying to have fun with this. The guy was a great OC for the team this year. But you sure as hell didn't have to run the end around in that playoff game. And you sure as hell didn't have to run the end around on the Buccaneers yesterday. All right? Aaron is the P barometer on the Bartow 48 text line.
By the way, I love the people tweeting out like, I didn't even want him back anyway. You're a liar. Idiots. You're a liar. You did want him back. Now I understand now if you're like, hey, now that we know his true character, I wouldn't want him back with the organization. I feel like Jason Light and company feel the same way.
Yeah. And a lot of people who said they wanted him as the head coach are like, well, thank God, because that's not the character you want leading a football team.
No.
Although, again, one of the other things I've also seen is shame on the Bucs for not firing Todd Bowles and giving him the job before he left. I'm surprised how many times I've seen that. Although, again, I think the vast majority of Buccaneer fans fall in the same bucket as me and you, which is we could have forgiven him for everything had he just not done it in such a shady way. Even after he agreed to the contract, I think if he picks up the phone when he gets the phone call from Shad Khan and says, I'm really sorry, I cannot turn this down, we all kind of go, I get it. But to do it the way he did, everyone's like, F this guy, rightfully so.
I wonder how Baker feels about this situation. Somebody mentioned that on the text line. Probably no golf at Sawgrass.
No. I think if he sees him with a golf club, it could be very bad for Liam Cohen. All right, now Baker won't go that far, but it's not great. It's not great. Well, we've got a lot to get to today, including some of the other ramifications this move could have for the Buccaneers. That's coming up in a little bit, but coming up on the other side, it's time for today's top headlines with Casey Warner.
But before that, listen, I know a lot of you don't have peace of mind after what we went through yesterday, but when it comes to your investment portfolio, you'd love some peace of mind, and that's where Trajan Wealth is going to help you. And schedule a complimentary introductory meeting right now to learn more with Trajan Wealth. It's easy. Here's the phone number, 813-550-1000, or just check out their website, TrajanWealth.com. This is a family-owned and veteran-led business by Jeff Jr. He's been doing it for over 2 decades. These are the type of people you want to work with, and they're going to help you out right now and help you meet your financial goals. Wealth management, retirement planning, that's what Trajan Wealth is going to help you with, and they're going to help you develop that plan that gives you the peace of mind I've been talking about, and it starts with that phone call today. So give them that call, 813-550-1000. Offices near you in Tampa, so you can book a face-to-face appointment or a virtual appointment if that's more comfortable for you. But what they do at Trajan Wealth is they work closely with you to make your path to retirement an easy and a comfortable one. That's all they want to do. They want to make sure your retirement plan is in line with your values and your risk tolerance. Everyone's different, so give them that call today, 813-550-1000, TrajanWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth. He doesn't trust Stu. He doesn't trust the Rays organization.
Yep.
He's waiting for it to implode as far as, and it's going to be on Stu.
So right now we have no offensive coordinator and we have no baseball stadium.
I don't think we're ever going to get the stadium. I mean, like, it's just too contentious. It's way too contentious. I don't think it's going to be under the current with ownership with Stu Sternberg. There's going to have to be something, whether he sells the team or I just don't know at this point. But I really feel Rob Manfred is going to step in at some point.
Yeah, I think he can, to an extent. I think he already has.
He has, but even further.
We will see what goes on with the ongoing stadium saga, the Rays, Tropicana Field, and the new stadium. A lot of questions there. Well, there is not a question now for the 49ers, and Robert Saleh is not going to be a head coach. Reportedly, the 49ers have agreed to terms with Robert Saleh to be their defensive coordinator. He was their defensive coordinator from 2017 to 2020. Then he was, of course, the head coach of the Jets, got fired this past season. Well, he's going back to San Francisco and the Bay Area for the Niners as their D coordinator.
Perfect place for him. He did a good job there.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll do a good job there today. Obviously comfortable with everybody there, and they're comfortable with him. So it just makes a ton of sense.
Makes the most sense. And like I said with Todd Bowles, sometimes you got to take that step back to where you're comfortable before you take that step forward again. And where was Robert Saleh most comfortable? Defensive coordinator. Where did he have the most success? In San Francisco. So we heard reports that he was one of the top candidates for the Jags head coaching job. I think the better move for him is go back to what you're good at, reset your roots, and be ready to take another step as a head coach at some point in time in the future.
Breaking news, dark day in Buccaneer history, Aaron. We're getting trolled by Jaguars fans.
No.
On X.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
I don't like this.
Yeah.
Is it the Duval guys?
No, it's Shad Khan doing, you know how they do like the You Too Small thing?
Oh, yeah. I didn't know You Too Small.
Yeah, You Too Small. Like they'll come up to me and be like, You Too Small. I get that all the time.
That's a thing?
Yeah, man, it's a big thing. It's a big thing. We got odds yesterday at around 11 o'clock in the morning. That's how crazy things are. The Jaguars' next head coach, and by the way, this is before anything had changed with Liam Cohen.
Oh, that we knew.
Yeah, Liam Cohen had just plummeted down the list, plus 1,400 to be the Jags' next head coach. So if somebody got some information and you knew what was going on, you just won a lot of money.
And to wrap up today's top headlines, there are a couple minor changes to some MLB rules that we can expect this coming season. Now, last year, or I think it was the year before, they had the shift rule where they could only have two people on each side of second base. Well, that has been tweaked a little bit. So teams will go as far as they can to change the rules, stacking three infielders on the right side or the left side. They used to do that. Now it's just two on each side of the base.
Yeah.
So if a player was deemed to have violated the rule, it would be a second baseman or shortstop crossing over the base too early. The penalty in the past was either accepting the result of the play or getting an automatic ball for the batter. The new rule is tougher on the defense. The rule change now says that a team violating the shift rule will see the batter granted first base for free, and any base runners will move up a base. The fielder would be charged in error while the batter doesn't get a plate appearance.
I mean, they are really, because you saw last year, and the reason they're doing this, they were getting, I mean, you saw a second baseman, they were getting
right there.
right there. And I saw the violations called a couple times, and now they're saying, okay, you were teetering, stop teetering, because it's going to hurt you. You're going to get much more penalized, harsher penalties. I kind of like it. Just go back to playing baseball. Go back to the original way of playing baseball. Now you could say there was nothing wrong before the rule change. They weren't doing anything illegal.
Yeah.
It was just, it made the game less interesting.
It made it more difficult to hit, that's for sure.
Less interesting.
But that's fair.
And the other rule tweak has to do with running over a base. So the scenario here is when there are runners on first and third with two outs, and there's a ground ball that causes the defense to grab a forced play at second to end the inning. If there's a close play at second, teams were teaching runners not to slow down and just keep running past the base as if it were first. So the theory in that was that if the player beat the throw at second base and was ruled safe, the runner on third base would then score a run, before the third out. The rule tweak here gives the replay official the ability to rule whether or not the runner heading through second base in this scenario has abandoned the baseline before the runner scores. So if so, the run would not count.
Yeah, so they basically have to make that turn to third. They can't just run straight through. They have to lose speed, make that turn, and cut that bag to try to get to third base and make it look like at least that that's the intention. I like that as well.
Maybe it's because I'm watching the play at the plate in those situations. I've never noticed a guy do that. I've never noticed a guy run through second base like he's running through first base. I'm obviously not saying it doesn't happen or they wouldn't have bothered with this rule. I've never noticed that.
Even though I like the rule changes, I know personally, knowing myself and how I can contradict myself at times, the second this goes against me with like a bet, or anything, or my team, if just a guy gets called for, an automatic base because a guy crossed over second base, a fielder crossed over second base, that I'm going to be livid when I see it.
Yeah, everyone's going to be, but listen, it better be pretty clear cut, right? I don't want a guy stepping a couple steps over the bag and all of a sudden we get weird calls like that, changing the game. Like, we see too much of that stuff too. So it better be really, really specific and really, really like drastic to call a guy out for something like that.
Liam Cohen, you're the worst.
He is pretty bad.
Just going to be saying that.
Hey, listen, sleazy Liam Cohen is the worst, and that's what I'm calling him from me. I feel like that's almost like a nickname that Donald Trump would come up with, but I'm going with it anyway. Sleazy Liam Cohen. What if sleazy Liam Cohen isn't done screwing the Buccaneers? When we return, we'll go over an even scarier thought than the thought of him just taking the Jaguars job.
Should we have people text in, you have sleazy Liam, I've got Benedict Cohen. Should we have people text in what his new name should be?
Not only should we have people text in, but Casey, this sounds like a perfect opportunity for a Twitter poll. Sleazy Liam Cohen or Benedict Cohen, which is the nickname we should officially go with here on the Pat and Aaron show when it comes to Liam Cohen.
82945, start your text with DAE for your Liam Cohen name.
Our friend Brian Stamey, we just call him Awesome Brian Stamey because he's the opposite of Liam Cohen. He's a guy that you can trust.
Before we get to that, actually, maybe you don't want to read this text. I wanted to see how ballsy you are. You're from the 773. That's your area code, right?
No, it is not.
Okay. My bad.
774 is my area code.
Oh, so close. Somebody says we won't read that text from the 773. They texted something.
On the Bartow Ford DAE text line, probably can't read this on the air, but acknowledge it. What Liam did is a 1,000% certified punk bitch move. Sorry, Jeff.
He read it.
Sorry to our friend Jeff who doesn't like that word.
You've got some chutzpah, my friend.
That's right.
More than Liam Cohen.
Once again, our friend Brian Stamey, the opposite of Liam Cohen. And that's why around here, there's only one jewelry store that reigns supreme above all the other jewelry stores you could go to. It's International Diamond Center. That's because they're a Florida-based company with international connections that go back for decades. The owner used to be a huge supplier for diamond and jewelry stores all over the eastern seaboard. With IDC, you're going to get access to one of the nation's largest selections of real, rare, and natural precious diamonds. Certified by the GIA, the world's most trusted gem lab. No middleman markups, no broker fees, no pricing games, just straight up value pricing on every diamond in all shapes and all sizes.
That's right. If you're considering a diamond purchase, you must talk with the experts at IDC. Let them help you avoid all the pitfalls. The non-commissioned IDC experts, they're going to show you how diamonds are priced on the world market, and they're going to teach you the tricks on how you can max out on your budget without compromises. And they'll show you multiple diamonds in your size, your price range, so you can just choose the one that makes the most sense for you. And buying a diamond, listen, we know it can be a risky endeavor these days, so you don't need to worry here with IDC. They're going to educate you. That's why it's so important to go to IDC. They'll educate you so you don't get taken advantage of like the Bucks did with Liam Cohen. These are people you can trust, unlike Liam Cohen. International Diamond Center, your first and last stop. Trust me, not Liam Cohen. IDC, trusted diamond experts in Tampa.
53 WDAE and AM 620.
Sleazy Liam Cohen. That's what I'm calling him. Aaron likes to call him Benedict Cohen. We've got a Twitter poll up if you want to vote on which nickname you think is more appropriate. I saw on the Bartow Ford DA text line one person that said Sleazy Liam Cohen. Most other people are coming out with their own nicknames, including things we cannot read on the air. Somebody said we should merge the two into Sleazy Benedict Cohen. I still hate
that.
I still think Benedict sounds too delicious.
I mean, you gotta stop thinking food, buddy.
How?
I don't know.
Doesn't work.
You gotta stop.
Doesn't work.
I'm
a fat man.
People are up this morning. They're fired up. I get it. Bucks fans, we got a first-time listener right now. I saw on the text line saying they first time ever listened to the show. So, I mean, listen,
Hopefully
rarely
they don't hate it.
right? Very rarely do you have a coordinator for 1 year, only 1 year under the job, do something like this, and it become...
It has nothing to do with how long he's been on the job. We never see this.
No, but what I'm saying is the reaction to me, it just shows the imprint Liam Cohen made in 1 year of how angry. I mean, people are up this morning. They're pissed. This is a coordinator. This is not a head coach. This is a coordinator that we wanted to come back as a coordinator. Coordinators leave all the time.
But I think if Dave Canales had done this, we would have been pissed too. It's about the way it happened.
Yes and no. Yes and no. It is about the way it happened.
We all wanted it. Remember, we all wanted to keep Dave Canales. Nobody was trying to push him out the door.
But it wasn't the. We didn't feel the pressure to bring back Dave Canales like we did with Liam Cohen because we didn't see the offense humming under Dave Canales like we did under Liam Cohen. We did not see a top 5 offense under Dave Canales like we did under Cohen.
We wanted him back more than we wanted Dave Canales back.
For sure.
But we still would have been pissed if Dave Canales pulled this. We would have absolutely been pissed. Because it's BS.
Well, with Dave Canales, I remember it well. We were like, good luck. Good luck with Tepper in Carolina. Yeah. Good luck. You got an opportunity. You struck gold, and you took advantage of it.
And I think it's what we would have said with Liam Cohen.
We wouldn't
had
have
he taken the job like a man.
Most people, 95%, because there's always a couple people that just be mad at him anyway just for leaving. 95% of Bucs fans would have said, what a great year. Totally get it. You parlayed that unbelievable year into a head coaching position, which is very rare in this world. So good on you. The lies, the deceit, the sketchiness is what is angering people today without a doubt.
Be a man and have the balls to be honest with people, and the rest of it is forgivable. Now, what could maybe be unforgivable as well, and what concerns me quite a bit, is what if Liam Cohen is not done screwing the Buccaneers? What if he's not done screwing the Buccaneers? And what I mean by that is he has been allegedly, one of the reasons he has decided to go and take the Jacksonville job is that Shad Khan has told him he can handpick his general manager. Which, by the way, I wonder if he told Ben Johnson that, if Ben Johnson would have taken the job, because there was a lot of talk that that's what Ben Johnson wanted. But that's what apparently Liam Cohen has been offered, is the opportunity to handpick his own general manager. And what scares me about that is, what if he would have reached back and asked for Mike Greenberg and try to get Mike Greenberg to come over here? Yep. And we don't know, come over there, I should say. And we don't know that Greenberg would.
I think the way
that's scary.
And listen, I think and Greenberg will take a job at some point, but it's not that job because Greenberg's not an idiot. He is reading the room and seeing and reading and feeling the temperature right now.
Yeah.
And seeing what's happening around this situation with Liam Cohen and how he has been painted as the villain, rightfully so, for what he's done.
And it's not just by fans. People at One Buck are pissed. And
no
rightfully
doubt about
so.
it. No doubt about it. So I don't think Mike Greenberg, with all the goodwill and everything he's created in this organization and really helped change this organization, I don't think he's going to follow a guy who's known for probably a year in Liam Cohen, maybe longer. I don't know.
Blank checks are very attractive, dude. As we've seen in the last 24 hours, blank checks are very attractive.
Yeah, but the track record of Mike Greenberg as a guy in this organization, much more stable than what we've seen from Liam Cohen.
For sure. But you know what? People probably still wouldn't hold it against Greenberg for doing what's best for him if he did it in a stand-up way.
Liam Cohen's got filth on him right now.
He does.
And if you leave the Bucks, especially with what just happened and how everyone in that organization feels, and Jason Light's got to be pissed today. And you know how close him and Greenberg are.
Yep.
That I would be shocked if this is the job that he took.
I would be too, but I'd be lying if I said it did. On some level, it didn't concern me.
Of course,
because
after what we've seen, anything could happen.
Yeah, he interviewed for the Titans job, so he's ready for that opportunity. And you never know if he would take one if it came to him.
It's got stink
right?
on it. That one's got stink on it.
It does to me and you, and I think it does to a lot of even people at One Buck Place. But what if Mike picks up the phone like a man with some balls, Liam Cohen? What if he picks up the phone and talks to the Glazers, talks to Jason, and says, "What do you think? Would you have a problem with it? Do you?" And they said, "No, you got to do what's best for you." And he went.
On the text line, using a sick child as his excuse is probably the shadiest part of it. That's the reports we got from Rick Stroud. It's totally shady.
It is.
It's totally shady. If you're ignoring calls and you finally pick up the call and you're like, "Hey, I'm at the doctor's office with my sick child, and oh yeah, by the way, I might be reconsidering this Jaguars job." Yeah, that's totally shady as a character.
Does the sickness matter to you? Because to me, it does. If it's a serious illness, it's disgusting to use your child as an excuse like that. If the kid's got like the flu, I don't want to say it's fun. It's almost funny. Like it's not the worst part of this to me. If the kid's not really that sick. If the kid's got a serious illness, that's a dirtbag thing to do, to use that as an excuse.
There's a million safer excuses you could use, like, hey, I was out on the golf course, which, by the way, a lot of people go on the golf course, especially in the off season. I was 4-hour round, 5-hour round. I don't look at my phone that much when I'm on the golf course. I'm playing golf. Like, there are a million other BS excuses that you could have used.
Nobody's golfing in Florida this week, dude.
No, they are. People are.
This week, I'm not believing that excuse.
What are you talking about? I got a tea time on Sunday.
Dude, yeah, it's starting to get nicer.
Warmer, yeah.
Did you have a tea time yesterday?
No.
Yeah,
but,
what about the day before?
Joe from the Joe Show played the other day.
Come on.
I know.
Was Jet out there in his T-shirt?
No, Mojo was out there. His dad, who's in from Detroit right now.
But he was dressed looking not like an idiot.
I told Mojo to come in because he's visiting. Mojo
is he here?
Has top-rated morning show in Detroit. He's here today.
I've heard we have a top-rated morning show.
According to Ben Maller. Thanks for the shout-out, Maller, minus the shout-out. We had Ben Maller on the other day. Shouts us out today because Pat texted him this morning, and he just said the #1 rated morning show in Tampa, which I appreciate. He just didn't say our name.
Yeah, we got to hit a break, but the question... 82945. Should we be offended by the half shout out by Ben Maller? Here it is.
My boots on the ground, who may or may not host the top-rated morning show in Tampa, tell me that part of the contract that Liam Cohen agreed to with the Buccaneers was that he wouldn't take a second interview with Jacksonville. Who goofed? I've got to know.
You think he thinks that Liam is related to David Cohen? Because he calls him Cohen. I don't know if you've noticed. He's like Liam Cohen.
Cohen. I love how he hedged his bet with us. May or may not be the top-rated morning show in Tampa.
You are listening to the top-rated Sports Talk morning show in all of Tampa Bay. And we're happy that you are. So thank you for listening again this morning to the top-rated Sports Talk morning show in all of Tampa Bay because we love having you listen. All right, when we return, there's still plenty to get to in this situation. Liam Cohen isn't the only coach the Buccaneers are going to have to replace this offseason. We're going to give you the latest on who Todd Bowles is going to need to replace on the defensive side of the ball coming up on the other side. But first, want to remind you about our good friends at Wanna Parlay. The Wanna Parlay app is pretty amazing. I actually just put in my first parlay yesterday. I didn't win, but I put in my first parlay yesterday.
I put one in this morning already.
Did you?
Getting ready for the day.
You put some of that tennis on it? You love your tennis.
And I only put $2 on it. That's the best part. I didn't do tennis. I did a little soccer.
The $2. Listen, the big one every week, there's a week-long thing that you can enter $2 and win up to $2,000. It really is amazing. We downloaded the app this week. You can compete against us and other goons and see who can build the best parlay. Also, there's a chat feature so you can talk some trash when you're up on the leaderboard, and everything's there for you to see. All of our picks ranked. You can even fade our picks or tail our picks.
Yep.
It's all on the Wanna Parlay app. For just $2, like we just said, you have a chance to take home a huge cash prize, and it really is a blast to use.
Plus, there's always these free-to-play games, too, so it just makes watching all the sports so much more fun. Here's what you do. Download the Wanna Parlay app, click around, make sure when you're putting in these parlays, you're going to have to put in each one, when you put the parlay in, you're going to have to pick a player prop. That's going to make sure you do that. That's when you're going to be able to actually put it in. So make sure you pick at least one player, and then you can pick teams all around, and that way you can put it in. But here, you want to make sure to use the promo code GOONS when you download the Wanna Parlay app, WANNA, Wanna Parlay app. If you use the promo code GOONS, 100% deposit match for up to $250. So you put $20 in, they're going to give you 20 more back. How about that? It's pretty simple and it's amazing, and you're going to win some money just like we're playing right now. You can play with us. So download the Wanna Parlay app today.
that.
A lot of texts we can't read either.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. You guys are really dirty on the Bartow 4 DAE text line.
They're good.
Oh, yeah. No, we like dirty around here, even if we can't share it with you. We have some issues going on in the studio here. All of a sudden, all of the technology decided to stop working behind Aaron Jacobson. All right, so we asked you for the best Knicks name. Also, we mentioned before the break, we may not be done, or we're definitely not done, as a matter of fact, when it comes to Todd Bowles and his need to replace coaches this offseason. Obviously, the offensive coordinator position and replacing Liam Cohen is the most important that they're going to have to do. But both of their co-defensive coordinators could be gone as well. Casey Rogers is gone. He's heading to Detroit to become their defensive line coach. And then also their other co-defensive coordinator, Larry Foote, he could be going along with him to Detroit. He is actually interviewing for the defensive coordinator position, which, listen, for him, it makes a ton of sense. If you want to be a guy who's going to call plays in this league, and I think if you want to be a head coach, especially Larry Foote, right? I think it's difficult. I would imagine it would be difficult to get a lot of looks as a head coaching candidate if you're a coordinator who doesn't even call the plays.
Yep.
Because the question is then, how much are you really doing? And obviously you're not there just in name, standing around not doing anything. But what are you doing if you're not the play caller, if you're not designing the scheme and the game plan for the week, which I'm sure he has a role in. But I think it is difficult if you're not the play caller to get that nod as a head coach. So it makes sense for him to look at and interview that for that position.
The Bucks are in a very challenging position right now when it comes to the coaching staff because you just lost Liam Cohen. Now, we had heard a lot of things happening. John Spytek going to the Raiders with Brady. We had heard earlier yesterday Casey Rogers, Detroit, as the defensive line coach. We heard rumors of Larry Foote departing, but in the back of our minds, we're like, as long as you have Todd Bowles as the head coach, the defense will probably they'll figure it out.
They'll
you
get
hope
some
at
coach.
least. They'll get the right guys.
Yeah.
You got Liam Cohen. Like, that's what the feeling was yesterday. As you're seeing guys depart, you're like, all right, the most important piece in Liam Cohen is staying here.
Yep.
And then he leaves, and then you realize the weight of the world comes down on you, and you realize Casey Rogers is gone. Spytek is gone. Larry Foote may be gone. Liam Cohen is now gone. And you're like, the one guy we were talking about maybe getting rid of is the one guy still here, Todd Bowles. He's the last man standing.
And we're probably lucky that he's still here.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, I saw what I thought was the silliest tweet this morning about, you know what, I'm confident they're going to flub up this offensive coordinator search. They've got it right twice in a row. There's no way they get it right 3 times in a row. I think that's an absurd way to look at it. To me, and I think the Rick Stroud used the phrase, the term kingmaker with Todd Bowles, because his last 2 offensive coordinator hires have turned around and gotten a head coach job the next year. If you're a guy who wants to be a head coach, if you are a guy who wants to take that next step to being an offensive coordinator, what better position, right? And again, I think we argued the other day that you can certainly make the argument for the Lions, that that's a great opportunity, right? But the Bucs opportunity is a great one as well. And it is certainly more desirable than it was 2 years ago when they hired Dave Canales. And it's more desirable than it was a year ago when they hired Liam Cohen. So not to say they're going to have their pick of coaches, but they're going to be able to get a good coach for that position. What I think is important, Aaron, personally, is getting a head coach getting an offensive coordinator that runs a very similar, if not almost the same system. Don't blow everything up and start over again from scratch.
Why would you?
There's no benefit in that. And that's why even if they stayed in-house, I wouldn't be upset, right? You've got guys who've been part of this coaching staff that know this playbook, and I think potentially could step right in. Doesn't mean they're going to be as good of a play caller as Liam Cohen, but I think it's where you give Baker Mayfield potentially even a little more responsibility if you go with a young coach and have him almost help with the game plan. What plays do you like in these situations and that kind of thing? You put a little more on Baker's plate. I think he proved last year he can handle that. And I think if you go with somebody in-house or somebody that's part of that Rams family, that McVay tree, you're going to get a guy who can come in and I don't want to say do the same thing, but do a good job, and you've got the offensive pieces to do so.
It's why I wouldn't go with a guy like Chip Kelly for that very reason.
Thank you.
For that very reason.
So glad we don't have to argue about Chip Kelly because I do not want Chip Kelly here, dude.
Well, we've seen what he needs to have control, and I love he's an innovative offensive mind, but you don't.
Not a fan.
You don't fix what's not broken, and there's nothing broken about a top 5 offense here.
Yep.
You know what's concerning a little bit about the Casey Rogers move? It's a lateral move.
Yeah.
It's a lateral move. You didn't get they still have the opening for defensive coordinator, right? So you didn't get the DC job. I'd understand if you're like, hey, I want to spread my wings a little bit and take that next step and get the D coordinator job. But he interviewed for the Packers, same position.
Yep.
Interviewed for the Lions, took the job. We don't even know if he's going to be the run game coordinator, which he was here in Tampa, as well as taking on the D-line duties. And by the way, you had one of the best parts of the defense, Kalijah Cansey and Vita Vea.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we don't know why, right? There's a chance that he is going to get more opportunity to do more within those schemes, or that, like, you never know how guys work together. Again, to me, as long as Todd Bowles is here defensively, he's going to get coaches to coach guys up, and he's the one calling plays on Sunday. I'm far less concerned with the defensive side of the football, play calling wise and coaching wise, than I am offensive. Because if you do something where you blow up the whole offensive scheme, that's where I think you get yourself in some trouble. I want to sneak in Chase really quickly from Bradenton before the break. We got like 30 seconds, but I know all you have is a nickname. So Chase, good morning.
Hey, good morning. I just want to bring up, what about Copperhead Cohen?
Yeah, I like our friends over at Copperhead too much. And the Valspar Championship.
Find a different snake.
Yeah, we can't slander. I get it, the double C. The alliteration made sense, Chase. Thank you for the phone call.
You could do Cobra.
Cobra Cohen.
Nah, it's too cool. Makes him sound too cool.
Does sound cool. Screw him. We're not making him sound cool. Vote on our poll. Text in, whatever you want. We're going to talk a lot about this schmuck as the show goes along because it is an odd day. Somebody tweeted at Aaron earlier and said, I've never seen so much overreaction for it. What was the standard head coaching cycle? This was anything but standard. Anything but standard. Hey, don't forget, by the way, at the top of the hour, we've got your chance to win, not the top of this hour, later on, we've got your chance to win $1,000. There's a lot you can do with that money. So make sure, including a new TV for the big game. I mean, there's so much you could do. Make sure you're listening at 9 o'clock for your chance to win $1,000. But again, on the other side, more on sleazy Liam Cohen. But first.
Yeah, but first, want to tell you about how you can start your new year off the right way, and you can do it with a new financial plan. Call Trajan Wealth today. They're going to make sure you have your game plan for your retirement planning, and you can call them today for your free initial consultation. It's easy. The number, 813-550-1000. That's 813-550-1000. And it is so important when we're talking about wealth management and retirement planning. You've been working really hard during your career. You want to make sure everything's set up and in line for when you end your career and you decide to retire. And that is natural to be concerned with everything, the uncertainties of retirement planning. That is where Trajan Wealth comes in. They take that stress off your plate by working closely with you to make sure your path to retirement is an easy and a comfortable one. So whatever questions you have, they'll have the answers for you at Trajan Wealth. Offices conveniently located here in Tampa. So give them a call today, 813-550-1000. Or once again, check them out online, TrajanWealth.com, as they're going to help you develop a plan that's going to give you that peace of mind. So don't wait any longer. Book that appointment today. Trajan Wealth. So we're going to talk about the Rays. We're going to talk about ticket prices. We're going to talk about stadium and the trop. And it's just a crazy day. It's a Liam Cohen day. It's a
Sleazy Liam Cohen.
Liam. It's a Benedict Cohen day. It's a con Cohen, con man Cohen, whatever you want to call him. It is a bad day this morning after yesterday was a good day, thinking we were retaining Liam Cohen as the offensive coordinator, some continuity for Baker Mayfield. Less than 24 hours later, that is not the case.
I think Benedict Liam Cohen is doing a little better than you thought it might, Aaron. Sleazy Liam Cohen is at 57%. This is on our Twitter poll at 95.3 WDAE. Benedict Liam Cohen is at 32%, and then others comment below is at 11%.
And that's why I was going to say I just was going to leave it alone because Casey Warner works his butt off, does a great job, has crushed it with some of the videos and stuff, just works hard every day. I wasn't going to give him too much grief that I wanted it Benedict Cohen. That's what I think is a funnier name or more fitting name than Benedict Liam Cohen because, of course, it was Benedict Arnold.
Yeah.
But,
I see.
You work your butt off, and I'm not. Listen, the vote lands where the vote lands. Which one do you like better, Casey?
I like sleazy Liam Cohen, man. There's
That's
nothing like the use of the word sleazy. I haven't heard that word in a while.
I feel like you're into the word sleazy. Like you like sleazy.
Maybe just a little bit, you know?
We've told you a lot about how we feel about Liam Cohen. We're going to continue to do that. But if you missed anything from the first hour plus of the show, iHeartRadio app, it's free. Make sure you check out the podcast. But let's hear from you and how you're feeling after being spurned at the altar by Liam Cohen. 888-546-4620. Let's start with Daryl. Good morning, Daryl.
Hey, good morning. I kind of feel like between the movie Stripes. Okay, guys, now that we're all dining on ashes, I just look at it like this. If I can come from this take, I can see Liam Cohen saying to Todd Bowles and our GM, I will not seek, nor will I accept Jacksonville's nomination as head coach in the upcoming season. Wait, he left? I'm getting a phone call? Oh yeah, tell him I'm coming back. Yeah, I know that's the, thing of the lifetime that he wanted to get. But, I mean, it's just the way that you did it, Liam.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just the way that you did it. And we need to still stick with the Sean McVay coaching tree.
Agreed.
Come on. Continuity. All right, y'all have a good day.
Hang in
Thanks,
there,
Daryl.
Daryl. Thank you. Good performance.
I know. Daryl sounds a little sad.
He is. His head's all in a blender like mine, too.
It was very performative, though.
It was. Always is with him. That's why I love him.
I've always said if I had kids, I want Daryl to read my kids' bedtime stories.
I always said if I had kids, I wanted Daryl. Let's go to Devin. What's up, Devin?
What's going on, boys? I think from the beginning, I said it. I was surprised that he was coming back because he had everything to lose. But kind of like Daryl said, just the way that he handled it was horrible. And this absolute slime ball I'm just trying to wrap my head around the logic. You secretly traveled to Jacksonville in 2025, the internet era, thinking that these insiders would not find out that you're secretly taking a meeting. And then what about if the meeting didn't go well? You just secretly come back home and you're the OC? How did you think that was going to be okay doing such a thing to an organization that catapulted you to this position?
Devin,
gave you the keys to be able to do this.
Devin, I would argue that he did not think it was okay and that he knew that he was going to close the deal. He wasn't going out to Jacksonville to have a second interview anymore. He was going to close the deal.
That's fair. But still, at the same time,
still dirty.
You can't have your cake and eat it too. It's very dirty. And I can't believe that I wanted this clown to be our head coach.
Yeah.
So maybe this is exactly what the Buccaneers fan base needed, is that Todd Bowles isn't so bad after all. Let's just hope he can go 3 for 3 on an offensive coordinator, and let's beat Jacksonville next year. I think we play them, right?
Yeah, I popped in on the Pewter Report's video yesterday, our friends over there with Matt Matera and Scott Reynolds, and I saw one of them. I can't remember who it was. One of them was like, maybe the Bucs dodged a bullet here. Maybe they did.
Hey, thank you for the call, Devin. Really appreciate it. I wonder what, you think about how this all went down, and you got to think Trent Baalke was in on the virtual meeting, the initial meeting that they had, because we had told he was retained as the GM.
He was retained as the GM.
I mean, how awkward. How awkward for Baalke today to be like, wait, I got fired, and then Liam Cohen came right back. So obviously now
he saw the writing on the wall that day. He got let go right after that interview.
Yeah, but for Liam Cohen to come right back and jump right back into it, it tells you, it was definitely you. It was Baalke. I put out on Twitter, it might be Trevor Lawrence, maybe some things he didn't like with the personnel.
Yeah, if that was the case, it would have happened long before they started looking for a head coach.
But the flip-flopping and the secretive nature in which it went down.
Sleazy.
It is certainly sleazy. Now, I think we all have to remember, just coming back to the point Devin was making about, do we know for sure that, or did he know it was as good as done with Jacksonville? He was getting this job, so why be so secretive about it? Well, there was a stipulation in the contract, the contract that they had in place with the Buccaneers, that he wouldn't take that second interview.
Yeah.
So to me, if you're going to blow it all up, why not be honest about it with the Buccaneers?
It's a hell of a question.
And listen, even and for you to save yourself, go to the Buccaneers and be honest and say, hey, listen, I know you guys told me the stipulation in the contract is I couldn't take that second interview. Things have changed with Trent Baalke. I don't know if I'm going to take that job, but I want to know from you. I want to let you know what I'm doing, and I want to know, is that stipulation off the table with the changes that have had happen in Jacksonville?
So easy to do.
And if the Buccaneers say no, they haven't changed, and you still want to take that chance, then you as a man say, listen, I appreciate everything we've done in the last year, our relationship, but I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm at least going to go take that interview, and I appreciate you being upfront with me. And then vice versa, the Bucs could say the same thing. That is not how it went down.
No, it was dirty. It was dirty in every single way. And I absolutely hate the man. I don't hate the man, but
I hate the man.
Listen, I hate what he did to the Buccaneers. And I do believe they're going to get a good coach because of the way that this organization is built and the job that they've done and Jason Light has done and Todd Bowles has done, frankly, hiring coaches and the position that coaches clearly are going to be in. If you become the offensive coordinator of this team, I think they're going to get their guy. But I'm pissed that they're in this position and that he did it in such a dirty way.
No doubt about it. And we'll have to see the latest. And when we hear from Liam Cohen for the first time, hear what he has to say about it, we'll have that for you and let you react to it. And you can continue reacting with us on the other side. 888-546-4620. Yes, we'll talk about championship weekend coming up here on Sunday, but Liam Cohen's the top story. We'll get back into it on the other side. But before that, do not wait for hurricane season to start to make sure your home is prepared. And when I'm talking about your home being prepared, of course, I'm talking about your windows. And at Reese Windows and Doors, they install the highest quality impact windows in Florida, and they've been doing it for over 50 years. Most windows installed in just 6 to 8 weeks. Financing options available, including 0% for up to
95.3 WDAE and AM 620.
Get right back into the phone calls here. 888-546-4620. Your thoughts on Liam Cohen and the turnaround, the course reversal, going to Jacksonville after he basically agreed in principle to a deal to remain as the offensive coordinator, the highest paid offensive coordinator with the Bucs. Want to remind people coming up here in a little more than an hour, around 9 o'clock, your chance to win $1,000. Your chance to win $1,000. Very easy. You just text in when you hear the nationwide keyword. You text that in. Your chance to win $1,000. And you can do a lot with $1,000. Liam Cohen making a little more than $1,000 right now.
A little bit.
I hope so. If he's going to do what he did to make himself look like a total sleazeball.
I keep seeing suggestions on the text line from people saying that you and I, Rick Stroud, the guys from Pewter Report, basically anybody they hope will be in Jacksonville for his introductory press conference. I'm going to guess, first of all, I know Aaron and I aren't going to do it.
No.
And probably the timing would make it impossible given the time of our show. I imagine it's going to be an early afternoon press conference, whatever the hell it is, and we wouldn't be able to make it there. But I will guess that Rick and Ira and the guys from Pewter Report and all these people that I'm going to guess that they're probably not going to make the drive to ask the questions that you want to ask.
No, they'll be paying attention to it online, but they're not going to be going over there to ask a question themselves.
No,
I don't think so.
I'd be very surprised.
888-546-4620. Let's start with Emery, who's been hanging in there. Good morning, Emery.
Hey, good morning, guys. Great show. Listen, this is my opinion. You know, if I was going to seek out another job, I wouldn't tell my company, hey, I'm going to go take the day off. I'm going to try, see if I can make some more money somewhere else. I'm going to call in sick or make some dumb excuse why I can't come to work. And this guy did what he had to do to make the best decision for his family, and I applaud him for that.
Well, hold on.
Whatever he did.
Let's stop there, and then I'll let you speak again here. This is not. Let's be honest about it. This is not a normal job, right? This is not a job like here, right, where I can't just go across the street and work for a competitor, right? I have a non-compete. I can't do that. So this is not a normal job. And this is not, and I'm not saying everyone has a non-compete, but there are some things your boss might in a regular job just go, hey, if you want to take that job or go for the interview, good luck. You're not working here anymore. In the NFL, it works differently. There's a level of respect. And in that coaching carousel, whether you're a coordinator or a head coach or a GM, you understand that everyone is doing the same thing. They're trying to get that head coaching job. They're trying to reach their goals and their dreams. And no one is going to get in the way of that. No one's going to stop that. And I'm sure Jason Light and the fear and the anticipation of losing Liam Cohen was very real. But there's nothing you can do to stop that. But the honesty, the respect, the man-to-man conversation that you should have, yeah, it's totally different in the NFL and the coaching world than it is from an everyday normal job.
And I'm shocked you'd say that you applaud him for it, given the way that he handled it. Wouldn't you applaud him for it, man? Wouldn't you applaud him more if he had acted like a man and had some balls in the situation instead of going behind their backs?
Right, and I would applaud the Bucs if they handled the whole situation with the Tony Dungy thing. And everybody said, oh, they should have handled it different. Very quick question. What was he getting? He was getting offered $4 million from the Bucs, right? What was he getting offered?
I don't know the exact details.
We're just hearing that he was going to be the highest paid coordinator in the league and in history.
Okay, and do you know what the pay difference is? What he's getting at Jacksonville?
It's probably a couple million more that he's got. I'm hearing Ben Johnson money. I'm hearing Ben Johnson money is what he's going to get.
Right. I mean, this whole thing works in every aspect of life. When I go to a car dealership to buy a car, if I know that they're trying to rake me under the coals, I'm going to do whatever I got to do to try to get the best deal that I can. If that takes lying to them, then I'm going to do what I got to do.
Emery, how do you compare negotiating with a car dealership with dealing with people that you work with, dude?
Different.
It's not the same.
Doesn't matter, man.
Dude, no, it is not. Listen, if I go try to buy a car or a house or anything else, I'm trying to get the best deal for myself, period. How I work around my coworkers and the respect that I give them. Listen, I'm trying to get over when I buy a car, when I buy a house. I'm trying to do the best. I'm not trying to get over on my coworkers. I'm trying to show them respect. I'm trying to be a man and treat them the way I'd want them to treat me. It's totally different, Emery.
And on top of that, Emery, Ben Johnson's expected to make around $13 million a year. I totally get it, and Jason Light would get it. The Glazers would get it. If Liam Cohen went up to Jason Light, Todd Bowles, and said, "Hey, they're offering me Ben Johnson money. I know you're making me the highest paid offensive coordinator in the league, but they're offering me more than double that. No one is going to fault him for or be mad at him for taking that. Of course, they'd be disappointed. They want him to stay, but they're not going to write him off. He's not going to look like a sleazeball like he did here. It's just so different from an everyday profession. Do you understand that, Emery?
Yes. Do you think it's possible that how he handled this maybe got his offer from Jacksonville a lot higher?
Why? Why would you, if you put yourself in the Jaguars' position for a second, if the Jaguars are like, hey, we're going to offer you a whole bunch of money to come back here instead of going there, and then he goes, hey, what if I lie to them about coming there? Will you pay me more because I'm lying? What sense does that make, Emery?
It's also not...
No, I'm saying if he already went to Jacksonville and they said, hey, we'll give you $4 million, and he goes back and he says, no, the Bucs are going to give me that. Thanks, but no thanks. And then the Jacksonville comes back and says, we'll give you 6 or 8 or whatever. Then the guy's going to say, you know what, that's a lot better. I'm leaving.
Yeah, but why lie? It doesn't have to be exclusive to it. Like, you can still get that deal and go call the Bucs and go, hey, listen, I really was intending to come back as the OC, but now I just got this sweetheart deal that I can't say no to. This is a Don Corleone offer you can't refuse.
And it wasn't just the money. There's the part about they fired Trent Baalke, who he didn't want to work for, and they're allowing him to pick his own GM.
That's a great point. It's the main thing that changed from when he was going to take the job with the Bucs to going back and reneging on the deal. So there are ways he could have went about this, was still taking that incredible deal with Jacksonville without looking like a total scum.
I'm sure you're right, and I'll just say that, at the end of the day, the man made the best decision he could for his family, and,
But Emery,
guy.
we know he made the best decision for his family, and I would expect you to do the same thing. But if you were going to do the same thing, if you're going to do what's best for your family, wouldn't you like to do it with a little integrity?
I mean, maybe, but,
there you go.
Listen,
life. People lie all the time.
I kind of respect you, Emery, for this.
To make their life better.
I'm not the one who you should be looking for the respect because I'm kind of with you on that. Like, I get it. Like, I totally understand that mindset.
What are you upset about Liam for?
Because, I'm a contradictory human being. I can do things that other people can't. When I do it, it makes sense to me. I justify it. When somebody else does it, yeah, I'm mad as hell. That's the way I am. Sounds like you're that way too, Emery. Thank you, Emery. Yeah,
thanks, Emery. Be a better person.
Listen, he's just being honest about the situation. Listen, you and I can say all we want. We're not getting off. Now, I don't know how I'd act. I'd like to think that I would be honest and upfront, and we know how things are. We know sometimes things come your way real quick, and you make a bad decision.
I didn't even say, would you do it with integrity? I said, wouldn't you like to handle this with integrity? And he goes, maybe.
Well, yeah, Emery's way worse than me.
Listen,
I would like to handle everything with integrity. It doesn't mean I do.
I certainly don't either. Listen, we don't always make the best decisions or handle things the right way, but you should want to.
Yeah.
You should want to, Emery.
My intentions are always to not be hated afterwards, but it doesn't always work that way. Let's go to Will, who's on the line. Good morning, Will.
Good morning, Will. Have some integrity.
Or not, whatever you want.
Hey, good morning, fellas.
What's up, man?
Hey, good morning, fellas. Hey, thanks for taking my call. I like the new Saturday show also.
Oh, thank you, man. It's only going on for a couple more weeks. So
he lets me co-host it sometimes.
Enjoy it while you have it.
Break my heart, man.
What's on your mind this morning?
I just wanted to look at it from a different perspective. I blame this on Shad Khan. He made his decision to stick with Trent Baalke, and then after he had a couple interviews and the coaches weren't biting, then Liam moves on, and then he decides to be a scumbag and call him after. That's not the right way to handle business.
But that's
why that's a classist organization.
But they both can be that could be true, but it doesn't mean Liam had to handle it the way he handled it, right?
Oh, yeah, I agree that Liam should have went about it differently also, but I think Shad should be, from leadership from the top. Hey, he made his decision and moved on. I need to do the same.
Hey, Will, let's try to be a little objective though, in fair to Shad Khan. We don't know that Shad Khan knew that Liam had agreed to a contract that said he couldn't talk to Shad Khan again.
Probably didn't know it.
Right? So, as far as we know, Shad Khan could have been as blind to that as you and I are.
And until that agreement and that contract is signed, as far as Shad Khan is concerned, it's fair game. It's fair game. You go get your guy. That's your guy. You go get your guy. Plus, you got to realize in Jacksonville, Shad was feeling the heat. It's why he got rid of Trent Baalke. Like, he understood.
I still think it's different if he knew that Liam had agreed to not talk to him again and then called anyways. But if he didn't know, then it's about Liam Cohen.
Even if he did know, I mean, like he's an owner. I look at the owners differently, and especially the heat that he was getting on him from Jacksonville fans of, you just let Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen turn us down because you want your GM and Trent Baalke, and he's like, no. Fired Trent Baalke, got Liam Cohen back on the horn. I don't care what Shad Khan's going to do what Shad Khan's going to do. Liam Cohen is the one who made the mistake.
And he was, by the way, the guy that worked for the Buccaneers and the guy that is directly tied to us and the guy that I'm angry with too. But also, if Shad Khan did that, knowing that, I would still have there's still some shade there for him, but not as much.
No. And I mean, listen, Bucs fans are very upset today. Completely understand that. And 888-546-4620. We'll get to some calls here in just a little bit, but I do want to remind everybody about my friends at Tampa Bay Downs. And you want to live it up at the Downs like I do. And this weekend, the weather's going to be getting better. Sunday's going to be looking real nice. Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So today through the weekend, those are the days you get to hang out and have all the great time that you're going to have at Tampa Bay Downs. TampaBayDowns.com, now open 4 days a week. And don't forget, Wednesdays are free. And this weekend on the 26th, Sunday, make sure you head on out there. Bring your family on out there because you're going to it's the Kids and Family Day. So included in your fun-filled day, you get a chance to meet the track mascot, Mouse the miniature horse, and there's going to be pony rides, there's going to be bounce houses, there's going to be a lot of variety of games and special activities. So go on out this weekend, have a great time at Tampa Bay Downs, but there's so many more things coming up as well in the month of February. Big month of February. We're getting ready. Road to the Kentucky Derby. We're already there. So make sure you check out all the things happening over at Tampa Bay Downs. Great food, great action, and you can also bet on the live horse racing going on out there 4 days a week, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, free. You're waking up. You're mad as hell at Liam Cohen. We get it. We totally get it. And none of your...
Not everyone's mad at Liam Cohen.
I guess a couple people, small percentage, but I feel like the majority of people would have been okay if he was just upfront and honest with the situation. It's the lying, the deceit, the sketchiness in which he went about this situation is what's angering people, I think, for the majority of people today. 888-546-4620 if you want to jump aboard like Charlie. Good morning, Charlie.
Charles.
Good morning to the two best sports radio personalities in the world.
You're the man.
How are you, Fred? Okay, so listen, I'm going to bring something up, and let me finish before you jump in, because you both are as well experienced as it comes in the Tampa Bay area, knowing especially the NFL, right? You've been around the Bucs for quite some time.
You're really inflating us this morning, Charlie.
No, I love you.
I like
you
it.
know this.
I enjoy it.
I want you to really think about this from a non-emotional standpoint. If you take being someone who works for and with the Bucs, and you take all of that out of the equation, and we remove the emotion, what Liam Cohen did is obviously very unprofessional, the way he handled it. And maybe he handled that partially out of fear, partially out of not wanting to disrupt Shad Khan's momentum that he had, or maybe impress him that he was all in with him.
Partially out of sleaziness.
When you really look at when you look at it from the objective, from the other side, don't you think what the Patriots did to Gerard Mayo was sleazy? Don't you think what the Raiders did to Tom Telesco was sleazy? I think sleazy is all around, and unfortunately, it's everywhere, and it's not just in this. Like, I think we're making a bigger deal about it because it happened in our home.
Of course.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no. It makes complete sense.
At the end of the day, these owners, they are more sleazy. Don't you think, for example, do you think there's unspoken agreements, like when you talk about tampering, just go ahead and put Tua Tagovailoa, we need more wins, right? All that kind of stuff happens. People have been suspended. I fault him for how he handled it, but like that other caller said, like, I kind of get it. I've done that before, and I get my job is not the NFL, but at the end of the thing, we're all humans. So is Liam Cohen going to get booed and get absolutely lambasted by the Tampa media? Yes, but I actually get it, if that makes sense.
It does, and it does, and it doesn't. And Charlie, thank you for the call. Appreciate you, buddy.
I don't get it.
I look at things differently. Like what Robert Kraft did, is it the most upstanding citizen, or is he the greatest guy for doing it to Gerard Mayo? No.
Yeah, I don't even know if I should have called that sleazy. I just think it's a bad move.
You're running an organization. He felt like it wasn't working, and he didn't want to waste time. So when you're running a business, when you're running an organization, if you think Vrabel's your guy and Gerard Mayo's not, you make that change. And if Liam Cohen wants to make that change and make that move, and I hope Robert Kraft was upfront with Gerard Mayo throughout the process. It seems like he told him right after that game.
Certainly haven't heard that he wasn't.
Yeah, he told him right after their last game what was going down. It's how Liam Cohen, once again, how he handled this. And to your point, Charlie, of like, yeah, it happened here, so that's why we're upset. Yeah, obviously, when things happen to you and they directly impact you, it's going to make you more mad than if somebody like the Patriots, well, we don't really care about the Patriots.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
but we'd still probably say it was a shady way of doing things.
For sure. But when it directly impacts you, it's going to make you more personally, it's going to make you more mad. So that's obvious. But what Liam Cohen did is different than what we see from ownership. And listen, say what you want about the Glazers. They let Bruce Arians hand the keys to the castle to his choice in Todd Bowles. They gave Raheem Morris extra time, right? They didn't just cut bait with Raheem Morris. Yeah, they made some bad decisions along the way, sure. But I don't think you can look at a lot of the moves that the Glazers have made and said they've made them and it's a bad, it's a bad character move from them.
Yeah, I mean, there's moves they've made that have been allegedly more about money than coaching, right? The move to Raheem Morris and some of those things.
Once again, a business, not bad people, but a business.
Yeah, but
it's not how I run a business.
I'd still like you to try. Listen, and yesterday we got somebody. Oh, you guys will never criticize the Bucs, and you're just your team guys. And listen, yeah, I work for Bucs Radio, but also at the same time, I've had people say I'm more critical of the Bucks on the radio than most people that have worked for Bucks radio. I'm pretty honest about what I see during games. And on the flip side, for years, when I thought it was an issue, I said that I thought that the Bucks were letting, or the Glazers were letting football take away from football. And believe me, that pissed me off. I don't care about your damn soccer team. Do what's best for the Buccaneers. So when I thought it was appropriate, I have been critical of the Glazers. It's certainly not in this situation.
Let's go to Louis in Massachusetts.
Louis the Masshole. You don't like calling him Louis the Masshole?
Louis the Masshole. Hey, Louis.
Louis the Masshole. What's going on, guys? Good morning.
How are you, brother?
Look, I'm a little upset about Liam Cohen leaving. It is what it is. I mean, they're going to get another offensive coordinator to come in here. I believe it's like a plug and play. We have the talent on offense. Does it suck to have him go? Yeah, because he did a lot of good things with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But, I mean, this is something that I try to teach my kid every day. He's 7 years old. Integrity. Always doing the right thing, keeping your word. He kept his word with the Buccaneers. I mean, he had a bond with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he broke that. And, eventually things like that do eventually catch up to you. Say if it doesn't work out in Jacksonville, and let's just say, Todd Bowles decides to call it quits. You had an opportunity, but you burnt your bridges over here. I'm not going to trash the guy. He did a fantastic job with the Tampa Bay Bucks, and hey, good luck to you and the Jaguars, man. I mean, but what he did was kind of sleazy. I'm not going to lie. It's about integrity and keeping your word, because your word is everything. But I kind of expected that from him, because a project manager that I worked with played at the University of Maine, and he was the offensive coordinator over there, and he was the offensive lineman. He told me some, not going to say on air, interesting stories about Liam Cohen and how that debacle went. But, I mean, I kind of expect.
Why aren't you going to say it on air? What the hell are we doing here, Louis?
No, I can't do that.
Why?
I don't want to do that.
Just say allegedly.
TMZ. Allegedly some things.
Well, do you believe it? Do you believe what your source told you, what your friend told you?
Well, he's a project manager. He played at the University of Maine.
Totally believable.
Liam likes to party, I guess. So, I mean.
All right, so let me ask, Louis.
Well, everyone likes to party. I like to party.
Yeah, we love to party. Is it football related?
As far as what?
Like you said, the stories that you don't want to say on the air, are they directly related to football? Or are they more about his personal life?
Personal.
Yeah. Then I'll be honest with you. I'm not saying I don't care, but I don't care as much.
I don't care as much.
As if they directly related to the football program.
I still want to hear it.
Oh, me too.
Nah, man. Maybe for another time.
Well, how big? How much partying are we talking about allegedly?
I'm not getting into it.
Are we talking about nose candy? Or are we talking about what type of party?
Oh, I don't know.
You do know.
I'm not gonna say.
I like to call that full Josh Freeman, Aaron.
I'll get the dude on my on the podcast, and maybe I don't know.
Nah, because I won't be as interested. It's like it's kind of in the now. I'm into it, and I wouldn't be later. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, like I said, good luck to him. And, Buck fans shouldn't worry. I mean, like I said, we have a phenomenal offense, and we're only going to get better. I mean, look at look at the running backs, look at the wide receivers, look at the tight ends, especially like Devin Culp. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have a good offense. I mean, this is I don't think it's going to be that hard to find an offensive coordinator to come in here. I really don't. And that's all I got, guys.
Was it ladies of the night?
No, nothing like that.
Okay, because there's something. Listen. I
can tell Aaron's very interested in this.
Yeah,
very interested.
I am I wouldn't. And listen, I thank you for the call. Yeah, like by the way, I wouldn't be judging him on some of the. I just want to know.
By the way,
I just want to know.
Ladies of the night, I did tell you before, and I will not say it on the air, but I did get some inside information once about a former NFL head coach that may have been caught with one or two of those ladies in the parking lot of the stadium where his football team played.
Wow.
You remember that one?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, I think I know what it is.
No, because you don't know, so I don't want you to speculate.
He's a dirty dope smoker.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure that Louis the Masshole is not calling about weed.
Let's take one more before. Let's take Jim. Jim, we're a little late, but I want to get to you. What's up, Jim?
Well, I think Lion Liam got Shaka Khan'd, really. He's taken over a 4-13 team. He's got to go up against Houston twice, Denver, Arizona, Cincinnati.
So what's he been
Tennessee.
duped on, though? Jim, what's he been duped on? He knows
$10
all
million
of it.
plus dollars?
He knows all of this.
He's not going to be successful there. He should have waited, should have stayed. The Bucks should have made him an assistant head coach and offensive
Well, I said that.
coordinator.
I did say that.
Yeah, then he might have stayed. But I think he's making a very foolish move. If we had any sort of good defense, we would have won, 12 games last year. So 4-13, I don't see success. I don't see success coming from playing, calling some plays. I'm sorry, he doesn't have the players there, and he's not going to be successful.
And thank you for the call. If you have Brian Thomas and you believe in Trevor Lawrence and you're an offensive-minded head coach, then you do have the personnel there.
But honestly, it doesn't matter. Well, that argument to me is always the worst argument to me, because you know who gets a head coaching job on a great football team? No one.
No, it doesn't happen. Unless you're Bruce Arians and you give it to Todd Bowles.
Yeah, unless a guy retires, the guy taking over for him may take over a good football team.
Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin.
Typically, you're hiring a new coach because you sucked.
Bill Cowher went out in the sunset.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But
whoever takes over that team is going to be a pretty good team.
Outside of that, you're going to take over a team that sucks every time.
888-546-4620. Typically, we'll do pick 'em to start the 8 o'clock hour. We're going to push that back. We'll do that. We'll give you our picks later on.
We might do that. Who knows? If there's more of you, we'll take more of you guys.
We'll give you our picks by the end of the show. It might not be. It will be probably really quick, but we're not going to do pick 'em on the other side. 888-546-4620. Adam, we see you there. We know we're getting a lot of calls. We'll get to those on the other side, but we do want to tell you, Goon Squad, there is something really awesome that we just found out about. We want you to know about it as well. Absolute largest payouts on parlays. It's an app you got to have. It's called the Wanna Parlay app. WANNA Parlay. Wanna Parlay app.
I want it. You want it?
I want it. Well, I already did. Pat and I, we downloaded it. We're playing. You can play against us. You can play with us. We're going to be competing out there and trying to build the best parlay. Also, there's a chat feature so we can trash talk each other. We can brag. You can see the leaderboard so you can see where you rank with all the picks. So for just $2, you get a chance of taking home a huge cash prize. Check it out. Wanna Parlay app. It's a lot of fun and it's really easy and not a lot of money to enter. So check it out.
That's right. And there are always free to play games too. So it makes watching sports a lot more fun. And here's what you got to do. Download the Wanna Parlay app. If I speak English, the Wanna Parlay app, click around. And if you decide to upload money, well, good news is they're going to match that when you use the code GOONS. They're going to give you a 100% deposit for up to $250. So you put $20 in, they're going to give you $20 more. What's better than that, when you use the code GOONS, you're going to have an opportunity to win prizes through us that are exclusive to our listeners. So make sure you download the Wanna Parlay app today and use Jags fans texting the show today. We're happy you're listening in Jacksonville, for those of you who are. We're not happy for you stealing Liam Cohen, although I blame Liam Cohen a lot more than I blame anybody in Jacksonville.
Good luck. I mean, listen, I think he's a great offensive-minded coach, but has exposed himself as somewhat of a scum.
I'll be honest with you. Looking at it objectively, and I mean this, Liam Cohen was always going to be a better offensive coordinator than Dave Canales. He is far and away a better offensive coordinator than Dave Canales. He is a much better play caller than Dave Canales. But the reason why I said I think Dave Canales has a really good opportunity to become a head coach in the NFL is it's about leadership, it's about personality, it's about attitude, and it's about getting your players to follow you. And I believe in those ways, Dave Canales may be a better I won't even say is. Maybe a better head coaching candidate than a guy like Liam Cohen, because the personality, that what did Baker say, optimistic bully, whatever, like, you know what I mean? Like, he is a guy that I think is definitely suited to be a head coach. We don't know about Liam Cohen yet. We haven't seen him in that role yet.
And we saw Dave Canales in that Panthers team rally, Bryce Young getting benched and then rally, and they fought throughout the rest of the season and hung in games. We know that. We saw that with the Buccaneers. But Rock Riley, who will be on tomorrow, by the way, with his 1 o'clock show, and then me following up at 2 o'clock. Great tweet from him. He just tweeted a video of Liam Cohen walking in the tunnel at Raymond James Stadium, and he said, "The real Slim Shady, Liam Cohen."
He is shady.
Rick Stroud's tweet says a lot. Rick Stroud's been all over this reporting, and I found this to be a very telling tweet from him at 5:30 this morning. Up early, I'm probably up all night with all the reports going on, and this was Rick's tweet. Liam Cohen became the Bucs' latest runaway bride, ghosting his bosses in Tampa Bay for more than 26 hours, blaming his disappearance on a sick child while secretly sneaking away to Jacksonville to become the Jaguars' head coach when he'd withdrawn his name from that job on Wednesday. Wow. Yeah. Like, listen, every reporter, everyone is different and how they cover and what they say. And when Rick Stroud says something like that, the line of blaming his disappearance on a child while secretly sneaking away to Jacksonville, that is a big line. That's a very telling line. Now, there's guys out there, like, if they said that, I'd be like, all right. You know, that's what you... J.C. Cornell, who I do follow, and he does some good stuff. Yeah, he does some good stuff.
I stopped after enough tweets that I'm like, this is nonsense.
But, that's it. If J.C. Cornell put that tweet out there, I'd be like, well, okay, that's J.C. Cornell.
Remember, it was J.C. Cornell who once reported that the Rays and Buccaneers were getting ready to build a joint facility for both teams. That was J.C. Cornell.
He was so close.
That was about when I said, you know what, enough of this guy for me. 888, never enough of you for us. That's why we've bumped football pick 'em. We might do some picks later on, but as far as this show, as long as you're on hold, we're going to take your calls. 888-546-4620.
You've really held that tweet against J.C. Cornell.
This is ridiculous. You don't put something out that like that unless you've got some real information, okay? Listen, I've been told a lot of nonsense over the years. I keep it close to the vest because I know it's probably nonsense. If you get good information on something like that, you break it. That joint facility, that's absurd.
But the point is, he's somebody who definitely has... You know, he reports on the team, but he has a lot of opinions that he puts out there. Rick Stroud's a reporter.
To me, J.C. Cornell does not report on the team. I've never once seen him at One Buck Place. Like, you can put stuff on the internet. It doesn't make you a reporter.
That's fair.
Right? Like, there's a lot of guys who put stuff on the internet. I see every day I get stuff that pops up on my Facebook from some fraudulent Buccaneer quote-unquote reporter that's never been anywhere near One Buck Place. And I know J.C.'s been there, but he's not there all the time. I don't think he's got real sources. Clearly, if he thinks the Bucs and Rays were going to build a joint facility, he's not got very good sources. All right, let's get back to the phone lines. 888-546-4620. Adam, good morning.
Hey, Pat. So I agree with you. There's you definitely don't want to, so to speak, burn your bridges, as they say. But, from his point of view, look at it this way. He has a head coaching job. He'll probably get fired because the team sucks with Jacksonville. But at least the worst case scenario for him, he'll go back and be an offensive coordinator somewhere. And
Adam, he could have done all of the things you're talking about and handled it with integrity.
Yeah, but you don't know what's going on behind closed doors, because at the end of the day, Pat, Like, look at your guys, like any job, but especially like your business. You guys could be like top dogs for years, which you have been. But then let's say tomorrow iHeart comes in and all of a sudden you guys don't have jobs anymore. It's no fault of your own.
You know what?
Now you guys are totally screwed.
But
So
Adam, hold on.
there's no loyalty in anything.
Adam, hold on. Let's go back and forth a little bit here. To your point, right? It is a business where that happens here, and we've seen it happen here. We've seen it happen to our friends here. And you know what? The people that have to do it, they handle it with integrity. There's not shady, man. And it's also a totally different situation, but like it's not shady. And if it was, I'd say, wow, that's pretty shady.
To your point, Nick Wise, our program director, texted me yesterday, and he said, dude, because I was telling him how Liam's the worst. And he said to me, he's like, if you were offered in a major market, major money, a top morning show, right? He's like, you're telling me you wouldn't take that? And I said to him,
exactly.
But you know what I said to him? I said, Nick, if that were to happen and I were to be given, to me, this is my dream job. I've always said that since I was a kid listening to Tampa Bay radio 620 WDAE. But if the money came with it, number one market, that's almost an offer you can't refuse, you know what I would do? And I said this to Nick. I'd call my boss, and I'm assuming Liam Cohen has a good relationship with the guys at One Buck Place in the Bucks organization, much like I have a great relationship with my boss, Tommy Chuck. And what I would do is I would call Tommy as a man, and I would say, Tommy, here's what's happening right now. I would just want to let you know. I want to let you know this is what's happening. I don't want you hearing it from anybody else but me. And I promise you, that's how I'd handle that situation. And Nick agreed with me.
Well,
he's like, you're right.
What if Tommy said to you, well, but you know what? Hold on. If you don't go there, we're going to pay you a bunch of money. Maybe not as much money as there because it's a different job. But we're going to pay you a lot more than you're making right now. And you said, yeah, you know what? I'll take that. Would you then turn around and go behind his back and negotiate for more money with the other guy?
Never.
It's a totally different situation, Adam. And thank you for the phone call. We do have to hit the break. But it's totally different. And again, there could be a job, there could be an opportunity that would be too good for us to refuse. But you know what? If it came our way, I'm going to promise you right now, we're going to handle it with integrity. You're not going to hear a sleazy Liam Cohen story about us. John, Angry Mike in Clearwater, we see you there. You're on the other side. We will continue going to the phones as long as you're there. It's the show of the people, and it's a day that we know you want to respond.
Sounds like a good tactic, though, going to Tommy Chuck's office and be like, hey, so I'm getting this
Does
offer.
it?
And he'd be like, all right, have fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know how good that tactic sounds
like
to
a
me.
horrible tactic.
You try that one out. I'm not going to do it. Pat Donovan show tomorrow on WDAE. All right, listen, it's not going to be the Pat Donovan show ever because the Pat and Aaron show is too much fun. But you know what else is fun? Driving my Mazda to work every morning. I love my Mazda 3 just like Aaron loves his Mazda 3. Started leasing one a couple months ago. I bought mine a couple years ago. Still absolutely love it. You're going to love any of the line of Mazdas you drive if you get into a new Mazda. And by the way, great time to do so. Coming up on Wednesday, we'll be out there doing the show from 6 to 9. Wector's coming to hang out from 8 to 9. We'll hang out after the show for a while. We're gonna have a food truck. Our friends from our friends from Wicked Chops are gonna be there with some great chopped cheese sandwiches, some great breakfast. It's gonna be a blast. Come out on Wednesday, Mazda of Clearwater, right on US.
offense of Todd Bowles, but I think after the way he handled things, we really dodged a bullet. For all of Bowles' flaws, and I don't think he's going to be a guy we can make a deep playoff run with or win the big one, but there's never been concerns about his character, the way he commands the locker room, how he handles himself professionally. So I'm really glad that the way things kind of shook out. And even though I do think we'll have to move on from him, I'm really looking forward to next season. You know, screw the Jags, screw the Falcons, the Panthers, and most importantly, screw the Saints. Let's ride and win another NFC South title next year. Thanks.
Screw them all, John. I love it.
I mean, do the Jaguars immediately become the most hated team outside of the NFC South for Buccaneers fans?
Who? I think they're right there. I think, listen.
I know the Eagles are there.
We obviously are never going to be rooting for Carolina, but I think people probably have more disdain, more of a dirty taste in their mouth from Liam Cohen than they ever did from Dave Canales, right? Again, we'll never root for Carolina because they're in the division. But without question, other than the people who have defended Liam Cohen and the people who have said, I don't blame, oh, yeah, I think what he did was, there was people who said, I commend him for what he did. Other than those weirdos, I think everybody's going to be rooting against Jacksonville, which before either they didn't care or they probably wanted Jacksonville to do well because they felt bad for them.
In the last 14 years, he's been in 10 different places. He was at Brown, Rhode Island, back to Brown. He likes to, but listen, you're not coming back to the Bucs.
Why is he bouncing around back and forth?
UMass, Maine, Rams, Kentucky, Bucs. Guy does not like to stay still. He does not like to stay put. And that should alone be concerning to Jacksonville Jaguars fans.
I'm going to say this. I've known people in my life that can't stay in one place for very long, and they have usually one of two things in common. They're either A, incredibly unstable, and I don't mean like they're crazy, but they're just unstable. They can't keep a job. They just we all know somebody like that in our life, right? They bounce from place to place to live. They bounce from job to job, and they're very unstable. Not necessarily crazy, not necessarily a bad person, but they're unstable. And then the other side is they're douchebags. They're complete douchebags, right? Like the guy we've mentioned before used to be on the radio here, Mark Benarzik, who moved to other markets. He was such a douchebag, he changed his name to Mark James. He couldn't even go with his own name anymore. You're either that kind of douchebag where you're going to change your name and change markets or places all the time because people can't stand you for more than 5 minutes, or you're just unstable and you have a problem like finding stability. You're one of those two people typically if you're bouncing all over the place, Aaron.
Maybe this is just because it's so close to home, but I don't know about you, Pat. I know you've been covering the NFL longer than I have. This is the crazy, forget about the NFL, sports. This is one of the crazier moves, the more wild moves, most wild 24 to 36 hour periods that I've ever experienced when it comes to a decision and a reversal of course like this.
Well, especially because, like you said, for it to be as quick as it all has. You know, we mentioned the Nick Saban thing earlier, some of the other weird situations. They usually take a little longer to play out than this one did. 888-546-4620. Let's go to Angry Mike in Clearwater. Mike, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for taking my call. It's Pat's number one caller and Aaron. I'm sorry, Pat and Aaron's number one caller. Listen, guys, I don't
Depends on
understand.
how you describe number one.
Yeah, right. Hey, listen, I don't understand, guys. This is the nature of the business. You know how many coaches have been given the kiss of death? They told them this week that your job's secure, and when they got back to the job the next day, their key card didn't work. So everybody's getting a little bit overexcited about this. You know what? It's a business. If you offer me about 10 times the money I was making this week, I don't really care about what my boss thinks on the way out the door. I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah, but and thank you for the call. I get that. I understand that. If you don't care, you don't care. If you're that type of person, if that's your character and you don't care, fine, that's who you are. But I think the majority of us are just trying to be good people. I think the majority of us
I like the way you said that, like good people. Like you're not trying to be too good of a person.
No.
But you want to be just good enough.
Not me and not most people. There's some people that are excellent people. I'm not one of them. I like to think I'm a good guy. I like to think I handle situations. Relationships are extremely important to me. Whatever I'm doing, and listen, there are things we all do that
Most
are good,
relationships
bad.
are pretty important to you. Some of them you forget completely.
Yeah, we'll get to that. That's for another day. That's a low point in my life. We'll get to that. That will happen at some point in the near future. But relationships are important to me. You know this, Pat. And good people are good people. Like the people that I've had, that we've built relationships over the years with, the ones that are close, that we keep close, the major reason why is because they're good people.
I thought you were going to say the majority of them are good people. No. I was like, whoa, let's go over the people who aren't.
Like, think about who's close to the show. Rock Riley.
Yeah.
Just as
great dude.
Great dude. Ken Hagen. Great dude, just like a good guy.
Rock Riley, and we've talked about this before, he has thanked me for years for bringing him on the show, and I'm always like, Rock, people love when you come on the show. It's a benefit to the show. He used to bring me on the air when I was running the board for him when nobody knew who I was. I did not benefit him at all by him putting me on the air, and he still did it.
Jeff Atnella, awesome person.
Most of the time, not today as much.
Doug Wechter, Ian Beckles. These are good people. So relationships are important to me, and I like to think relationships are important to most people, but Liam Cohen had to be realizing that he was severing this relationship, and it was a bad look for him when he did this.
All right, time for one more phone call before the break, but keep calling in. Like we said, we're not even going to get to football. Maybe we'll slide in a couple picks, maybe just the game picks during the blender. But as long as you guys are calling in and want to react, we'll continue to take your calls. 888-546-4620. One more here from Jacksonville. Noah, good morning.
Hey, fellas. Thanks for taking my call from behind enemy lines.
You got it. No problem. Listen, as mad as we are to an extent at Shad Khan, although not as mad as we are at Liam Cohen, I still don't have a hatred for Jacksonville fans. Noah.
Right. Hey, we're all Floridians, right? Well, listen. So I saw a couple reports here in Jacksonville. I never saw Rick Stroud report about it, but and so I don't know if it's true. But I did see that there was a thing in his contract that had mentioned that he needed to not take the second interview with Jacksonville if he was going to accept his new offer. So that is true.
I mean, that is what has been reported, Noah. I can't say I haven't seen the contract, and certainly Jason Light didn't text me and tell me it was true, but that's what's been reported for sure.
So if that is true, that doesn't change y'all's opinion about how everything went down?
Well, I think it makes it worse, right? Like he agreed to a contract that said he would not talk to the Jaguars again, and then he snuck off and didn't tell anybody he was going to Jacksonville and talked to them again. So it makes it worse.
The point for me remains, and it will always remain, that even if that is the case, and I believe that was the case, you can still call the Buccaneers and say, hey, I know this was a stipulation. Things have changed. They're offering me an opportunity potentially now that they've fired their GM where I might be able to choose who I work with and who's going to be above me. That things have changed. And if that's the case, just reach out to Todd Bowles, reach out to Jason Light, and just be honest about it.
Be above board.
Right. Well, I think the interesting thing for me is if Cohen is looking at the Jacksonville job and he's one of however many candidates the Jaguars are looking at, and the only options he has is either stay with his job to be the highest paid coordinator or whatever, or go out on a limb for a job that he may not even get and lose his opportunity to stay in Tampa. That's the way I see it. So it just feels like he was in more of a bind. I don't know,
I think thank you for the call, once Jacksonville lost out on Ben Johnson, once they thought they had lost out on Liam Cohen, when you fired your GM and Trent Baalke and then you call Liam Cohen back and you want to bring him back and this is what you've done, it's pretty clear to everyone that's your guy.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Bill, Todd, Rick, Ron, hang there. You guys are on the other side. Like we said, it's the show of the people. We're going to keep taking your calls as long as you keep calling. That's coming up next. But, Aaron, what would you do? What would you do if you didn't have to pay your mortgage for a whole year?
Oh, wow. That's a lot of money I'd be saving.
It's a lot of money.
There's so many things I could do. A lot of golf.
Yeah? Just golf?
That's probably just golf.
I mean,
golf's expensive these days.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Got to have a lot of money.
You golf anyways, though.
I know. I spend all my money.
I feel like you'd do something even better than that. I don't know.
There's a lot I could do with it.
I'd probably go on vacation. I would love to go on like a bunch of vacations. If I didn't have a mortgage to pay, I could probably take a vacation a month. I might have to get more vacation time here. Imagine what you would do with no payments on your mortgage, rent, or car loan. That could actually happen for you with Suncoast Credit Union's No Payments Giveaway. It's simple, too. All you got to do is become a member of Suncoast, and you're automatically entered to win.
Yeah, no brainer here. You get to experience all the benefits that Suncoast Credit Union has to offer, like the lower rates on loans, free ATMs at Publix and Wawa. You're going to save money there, and new member perks like BOGO tickets to Mosey. And we know, Pat and I love Mosey. We love our friends over
I just
at
hope
Mosey.
our friend John Smith paid for that plug here. You know what I'm saying? Listen, all you got to do, though, seriously, dream bigger and visit suncoast.com/no payments to learn more.
No purchase necessary. Starts 1/20/25 and 6/30/25.
Today, it's the players who have to execute the play call.
Bill, you're
Right?
100% right.
Hard work.
You're 100% right. But at the same time, again, I don't think many people are as upset that we lost him. And people are bummed out that he left because he's a very good offensive coordinator, did a great job this year. But people are pissed about how he did it, Bill. I think that's the tenor of the show today for most people is like they don't understand why he had to be sleazy about it.
Bill, I think the conversation today, if Liam Cohen doesn't say anything about returning as the offensive coordinator for the Buccaneers, the conversation today is not how much we hate Liam Cohen. The conversation is, what's the next step for the Buccaneers? Who do they find, and how do they keep this offense, this top 5 offense, intact and moving in the right direction? That's the conversation. But all the details we're getting from it, we can't have another conversation before we get out of the way that Liam Cohen's not the guy we thought he was.
That's a good point. That's actually very true because I spent the whole night mad like the rest of us did, and I had to, hear it from my Jags fan in the group chat. 24 hours before that, we're all jumping up and down, and then now he's turning it back on us. So yeah, I guess that is what the real source of it is. But in the end, it's going to be okay.
Yeah, Bill, thank you for the phone call. I want to rush to this next one. I feel bad that he's been waiting almost 10 minutes now because someone like this, if he's actually calling in from where he says he is, should get right in. Ron, are you calling us from Qatar right now?
Hey, Pat and Aaron. Yes, sir, I am. I am in Doha, Qatar. I'm a contractor.
Well, first, thank you so much for what you're doing out there, but also, because I'm sure you were in the military first, but also my apologies for making you wait 10 minutes all the way out there.
And going to Buccaneer John before you.
Hey, no problem at all, man. It comes with its territory of radio, and then when you're especially when you're on a topic like this, where a lot of us are chiming in, contributing as one. But so, yeah, but guys, I think my biggest thing is I'm not understanding why people just can't wrap their head around the fact that the main point of this is it's not what you do. Nobody would ever fault you for trying to better yourself and move on to bigger and better things, but it's how you do it, and it's your integrity that really speaks a lot more volumes about how the person is. And I guess it's surprising in a way, but it's not in a sense, because this is not something new. I mean, this has been a pattern. It's somewhat of Liam Cohen, and I'm not faulting him because, I mean, I'm sure some of us have had instability in our lives. I'm not claiming to be a saint or that I haven't either, but it's the way it was done. I think it was done low down. I mean, to say that you're at an appointment with a sick child, and I mean, it's just, and then go back and forth and then enter an agreement and say, okay, sure, yeah, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take this offer to stay. It's a tough one because
knowing that you might not too, Ron, right? Because there's a reason why when they presented him with the new contract, he said, do I have to sign it now? That should have told us a lot. And he obviously knew that he may still go back to Jacksonville.
Yeah, and it's just the effect of, it's like it's a profound thing because it's like it makes you wonder, like Khan, like he must have wanted him bad. I mean, if you're firing a GM, that's
definitely.
True, but
Definitely.
It's also the carousel of continuity, lack of continuity that continues. That's the most frustrating thing, is that why do we keep as an organization letting it happen? Like, you have to have continuity at some point in the longer run to have success. And it's just so frustrating that it's one and done with these offensive coordinator guys.
And you're right, Liam Cohen's this is a track record of his of leaving places all the time. It's 4:40 in the afternoon over in Qatar. You want to go outside, tell everyone, spread the word about the Pat and Aaron show to everyone in Qatar.
Absolutely, guys, man. I love your show, and I love T-Crass. I love all the young hosts over there. You guys all do a great job, man, and it helps keep me kind of back, feeling like I'm back home, and that's a special feling, so appreciate it, guys.
Did you just refer to me and T-Crass as young, too? Because I think he'd probably appreciate that as much as I do.
Well, I just turned 49, so I don't know.
2 years older than me, man.
Young is in your mind, right, and how you take care of yourself. And but, yeah, we're all blessed to have another day of life. But, no, you guys bring it, man. I love it. It's great.
Well, Ron, thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate you, Ron. Thank you. And, listen, this is one of those days. Everyone's fired up. And I know it's not a head coach. It's an offensive coordinator. Well, now he's a head coach. But he had a huge impact here. We know what he meant for this team and this offense last year.
888, couple more phone calls, then we are going to wrap the show up with our picks for this weekend. We'll get Nick Wise to pick this weekend's game with us as well because he's hanging out. So let's squeeze these last two in.
And we'll give our picks tomorrow. Pat's going to come in for a little bit. You're going to come in tomorrow?
I'll hang out with you a little bit.
Yeah, we'll give our picks on the Saturday show. 2 o'clock, you can hear me tomorrow.
888-5464. Actually, you know what? These are our last two phone calls. We're almost out of time. Let's go with Rick in Tampa. Rick, good morning.
Hey, morning, guys. Thanks for taking my call. So it's
calm in, Cohen, man. You can't do how he did it. Like I'm not mad. Like how the previous caller just said, I can't be mad for someone trying to go get a bag, and better his family. But it's the way you do it. Look at the last season of this season. You can't compare the two because at least when Canales left, like, okay, you know what? Good for him. Do what you do, man. Take care of yourself. He did it, like you said, with integrity. This is down dirty, stake in the grass. It's not really cool. And, it is what it is. Is it the players that made the scheme, or is it the scheme that made the players?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, Rick. It definitely is a little, and thank you for the phone call because we've seen this offense, and they had some upgrades this offseason, but we've seen this offense look not nearly as good last year under Dave Canales. So I think it's definitely a little bit of both. Marco in Tampa, good morning.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Good, man. What you got?
So I just wanted to give my thoughts on the whole Liam Cohen situation. I was actually one of the people. Well, I don't know if there were people like me, but I always felt like I never thought that he should. He was ready for a head coaching gig yet, just because he only did 1 year as offensive coordinator. I was at the wild card game. I think he should have took this next year to learn from that game and all the games that we felt like the Broncos games that he just didn't call well. I think you ready for a coaching position when you like Ben Johnson level. Like he should have did a Ben Johnson. So we're gonna get our Ben Johnson because I think our front office knows how to find a head coach at this offensive coordinator at this point. What do y'all think about that?
Listen, Marco, I think you're right that they're going to find the right guy. It's also a very attractive job at this point, and thank you for the phone call. We do have to hit the break, but it's also a very attractive job, right? It's a job that, you've got a bunch of weapons, you've got a great offensive line, you've got a quarterback who's ascending. There's a lot of reasons why you'd want this job. Oh, and by the way, the last two guys who took it went and turned it around into a very lucrative head coaching gig. So there's no question that this is a good job and one that I think the Bucs won't have a ton of trouble filling. It's certainly easier to fill than it was a year ago, and certainly more easy to fill than it was 2 years ago. What's always easy to fill is your glass when you're drinking the best tequila. And we're talking about El Bandito Yankee Tequila. It is so smooth. It is criminal. If you're thinking about doing shots or you're thinking about making margaritas, use the best. Use El Bandito Yankee Tequila. You can find it at Lucan's and all of your best supermarkets.
It is delicious. And I want to also remind you, think about it. Pat and I were just talking about this a little bit ago. Imagine an entire year with no payments on your mortgage.
That'd be awesome.
Your rent or car loan. Think about how much you could do with all that money. The reality could be yours with Suncoast Credit Union's no payments giveaway. It's simple. You just become a member of Suncoast and you'll automatically be entered to win.
Yeah, you're going to experience all the benefits that you're going to get anyways by being a member at Suncoast Credit Union. And by the way, great rates on loans, free ATMs at Publix and Wawa, and new member perks like BOGO tickets to see our friend John Smith at Mosey.
So dream bigger and check them out right now. Suncoast.com/no payments so you can learn more about this awesome offer.
No purchase necessary. Starts 1/20/25 and ends 6/30/25. Open to U.S. residents 18 and older. For official rules, see suncoast.com/NPGR. We'll wrap this up in the Sorta Blender. We're going to come back. We'll make our picks for this weekend. Nick Wise will join us.
The Blender.
Time for the sort of blender on the Pat and Aaron Show. We're going to call it the blender because it's always brought to you by our friends at Mazda of Clearwater. If you're thinking of a new or pre-owned vehicle, the choice is clear. It is Mazda of Clearwater. And if you're not getting in your Mazda, the choice is also clear. Since you're not driving, might as well have some El Bandito Yankee Tequila. It's the best tequila you can find. It is so smooth. It is criminal. You can find it at Lucan's and all your best. I don't know about supermarkets. Like I said earlier, I got a little distracted. Certainly all your best liquor stores are going to carry El Bandito Yankee Tequila because it is so smooth. It is criminal. All right, we're going to pick the games from this weekend. We didn't have time for football pick'em today because we wanted to make sure we had time for you. So we're just going to pick the games this weekend, totally unofficial for football pick'em, but we will start with the Washington Commanders going to Philadelphia to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles, and again, we always add or subtract half a point based on if a team is at home or on the road. So I'm pretty sure last time I checked, they were at 6 on the Hard Rock app, but for our purposes, for football pick'em, 6.5 point home favorites are the Philadelphia Eagles against the Washington Commanders. Nick, who do you like in this one?
The Eagles are struggling in the passing game right now. Jaden Daniels, man, is not a real rookie. It's kind of crazy. We all know in this town what he's done. He's gotten both my teams. As much as I usually root against the guy that knocks out our teams, I'm kind of rooting for him.
Then there's the Eagles,
and then there's the Eagles and their people. So I'm going to take Washington, not even just on a personal level. I think that they'll cover the 6.5. I think this is a 3-point game either way.
I think it's going to be a close game. I think late. Philly's going to be up maybe 3 or 4 late. And what happens? How do you separate yourself in the playoffs at the end of games? You ground, you pound, and I think that's what's going to happen with Saquon against this run defense that isn't spectacular for Washington. So I think late in the game, you're going to get a late score from Saquon, something like that. Makes it a 10-point game. Philly cover.
Nah, he slides down, and they don't cover.
He goes down.
He's about to score to cover, but then he slides.
He did it last week. Guy goes down.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
No, you make it a 2-score game.
I can't see anybody sliding down. I can't see that happening. The way Saquon was running last week against the Rams, he's slapping his helmet in the snow. He's so excited.
But he needed that touchdown.
Yeah, he needed that touchdown. He's going to need at least a couple in this one. I mean, 130.5 is his over-under. Come on, that's ridiculous. I think the Eagles are just too good for this Washington team. Jaden Daniels is ridiculously talented. He's one of a kind. I think he's going to put up a couple touchdowns, but I think this is high scoring. Give me Philadelphia 31-24.
And don't sleep on the Jalen Carter's a menace.
Yeah. By the way, 130.5 is pretty absurd. I think I saw the other day that it was one of the highest over-unders for years when it comes to the running back position. But I'll tell you this right now. I said the other day, I won't be surprised if he's approaching that number around halftime. Yeah. Call your bookie. Call your banker. Put a mortgage on your home. Put it all on over Saquon Barkley, over 130.5 yards. He is going to run potentially for over 200 yards. I hate the Philadelphia Eagles. I've been saying all year, stop sleeping on them. Don't be surprised if they go to the Super Bowl. And you know what? That's what they're going to do on Sunday. And I think they win this game by a couple of touchdowns. And I think it's because Saquon is a monster on Sunday. It's one of the days that we look back at after his career and go, that's why that guy was one of the greatest to ever do it. It's going to be a great day for him.
Yeah, I absolutely listen. Philadelphia, I think, is this year they're ready to. They got lucky, I think, by not having to face Detroit as well.
AFC Championship game. This is the one I think most people are more interested in watching. The Buffalo Bills go to Kansas City. The Kansas City Chiefs, 2.5 point home favorites, despite losing to Buffalo earlier in the year. Nick Wise.
Yeah, I'm so sick of the Chiefs. If anyone saw me on Twitter during that Chiefs game last week, I was so angry. Just all of it. The Patrick Mahomes running around. I'm going to go out of bounds. No, wait, I'm not. Oh, now I'm going to give myself up. 2 guys are going to hit each other, but not touch me and get a flag. I cannot stand the Chiefs. And I am praying they do not win this game. And I'm going to go with my heart on this one. I'm going to go with the team I don't want to.
But what's your mind telling you?
My mind is telling me no. I'm going with Buffalo. I'm going to take Buffalo in the points.
Who's going to win the MVP this year?
Feels like it's their year.
Who's going to win the MVP?
Josh
Allen. Lamar.
Well, yeah, I think it should be Lamar, but
I agree.
Josh is going to win it.
Yep.
We'll see.
And I think this is the time. This is it. He's slaying the dragon. Bills are going to not only cover this game, they're going to win this game.
The Chiefs team isn't that good. I know they won 15 games.
It's hard to bet against the Chiefs.
Man.
It's hard to pick against the Chiefs. Listen, I'm a complicated man, and I take chances. I take risks. I'm going with the Bills.
Yeah, I second that. I really do think the Texans
Yeah,
were
you third that, I guess.
Third that, yeah. I really do think that the Texans were a lot closer than people gave them credit for last week, and I think this Bills team is immensely better than that Texans team. With that being said, Josh Allen, MVP. Give me the points and Buffalo to win.
Yeah, everybody's close to the Kansas City Chiefs, and then everybody loses to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to be better than they were this year because I thought they were going to have Hollywood Brown all year. Oh, by the way, he's back. They will find a way because it's what they do. I don't know if they're going to cover. I think they're going to cover. I'm positive they're going to win. I could be long. Yeah, I am. I'm positive. It's what they do.
Hit it.
It's not a lock.
Oh.
It's not a lock.
By the way,
we'll hit it so they lose.
Yeah, for us.
All
do
right.
it.
Do it for everybody.
Put everything on the Chiefs.
Yes.
By the way, we were just talking about Liam Cohen all morning long and how he doesn't have much integrity. My mom sent this to me from my grandfather's tombstone. The greatness of a man is not in how much wealth he acquires, but in his integrity and ability to affect those around him positively.
That's right. Screw you, sleazy Liam Cohen.
Sleazy wins by 60%.
Sleazy wins, you sleazy son of a bitch. That's all we have time for today.
She followed up by saying it's a Bob Marley quote.
Oh, wow.
A couple minutes away from the cash contest. Let's listen up. Your chance to win some money, $1,000.
Win some money and have a great weekend. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Aaron Jacobson Show. Until then, for Aaron Jacobson, for Nick Wise, for Casey Warner in the penalty box, I'm Pat Donovan. Thank you to the men and women who serve our country and allow us to be morons for a living. Sorry, Mom, not the rest.